first, we kickstart the show by getting you out of your misery by answering the trivia question from last week. And last week, we asked you a very simple question, but I find it really confusing. We asked you which player or players hold the record of the most goals scored in a single season of the CAF Champions League. I may not know all the answers, but the man who sits beside me has all of the answers. Brian, I got this one confused because I know the CAF Champions League started in the year 1997. So prior to that, it was called something else.
So you know what is interesting about that? It was started the year you were born. So it's just, just to keep clarity around this thing. So before that, it used to be called the African CAF of Champions Club.
Got you.
So it was all the champions, as you know the Champions League now is. So the record was held by Salif Keita, not a musician, but the one from Mali also. But he used to play for Stade Malien. He scored a total of 14 goals in 1966.
Got you.
That feat was repeated in our era now. That is when you were here already.
In my era.
In your era, in your era. 2011, Zimbabwe's Edward Sadomba, playing for Al Hilal of Sudan, scored 14 goals as well. So that's their joint record that they're holding for scoring the most number of goals in a single CAF Champions League or the African Club tournament, Then the overall top scorer, not
in a single season,
but overall, it is Tresson Putu for DR Congo, a legend from DR Congo football. He used to play for TP Mazembe, that's where you knew him, and really got to know what he can do. Also went overseas and came back to Africa as well. Also played for a team called Cabo Sport, that is a Cabo Sport in Angola. So he's one that's got 39 goals in 73 matches. So he holds the record at the moment.
Well, if you didn't know, now you know. That is the answer from last week's trivia question. But allow us to tickle your fantasies yet again. We have another trivia question for you. And this week we're asking about Wydad Casablanca. We want to know, when was the last time that they failed to reach the quarterfinals of the CAF Champions League? Can we get a clue?
2022, winners.
Okay.
2023, runners-up.
Okay.
You can think about it. Think about it.
Well, there are your clues for the question that we've asked you this week. Make sure that you send through all your answers on social media. Even if it's incorrect, it's okay. Use the hashtag, the only one that matters, hashtag Fut-Afrique. Now, we kickstart on a somber note as we pay tribute and homage to a fallen hero when it comes to South African football. Siphiwe Konza has passed away at the age of 44. Dr. Mnandi, as he was affectionately known in the streets. And Brian, you are someone who got to work with him closely. For those who don't know, what type of a person was he? But also, he was a player.
Yeah. He comes from a footballing family. His father was a footballer himself, played football before he became a coach. And Siphiwe of late was also a coach, by the way. He was coaching at college football level.
Okay.
And I got to work with him the first time in 2013. We went to the COSAFA tournament in Lesotho, where South Africa won it. Then were coached by Coach Ephraim Mashaba. And that's when the Rivaldo Cotier were unearthed. That's when some of the players were actually unearthed in a tournament. So I got to work with him. It was an induction at SABC, because just arrived as a new analyst. Got to work with him there and worked with him through a few other tournaments also, including Always Best Super League, the league itself, and got to work with him. Very jovial guy. Always wanted to have fun, always wanted to laugh. He used to come and call me Bruno Madli when he comes around, So to the family, to his wife and kids, and to his dad as well, and to everyone in the football that supported him, from Mama Zulu to Kaizer Chiefs, Super Sport, he's been around in South African football. He still scored one of the best own goals ever.
Yeah.
So, that called me Mnandi. That one was Mnandi. So to the family, condolences to the family and everybody who supported him, and also the friends.
Well, condolences indeed. Another thing that happened this week that caught our attention was Hugo Bruce showing his respects to Joe Masono as he honored him with his bronze medal from the Africa Cup of Nations 2023.
That's a good touch. We've got to talk about the last time South Africa managed to get on the podium. They did it a few times after that. 2000, they were in a quarterfinal. They were third finishers in Nigeria, Ghana. 1998, Joe Masono was the man in charge of the team. That was the one that unearthed Benny McCarthy to the world. As he finished joint top scorer. They got a silver medal that year. So apparently, he came to see Dr. Danny Odan. And we arrived there. That's when Hugo Bros surprised him with the medal to say, you know what? This is to paying homage to you for what you have done for South African football, how you have unearthed talent over the years. Remember the man sitting next to Hugo Bros on a bench of Bafana is a product of Jomo Cosmos as well.
Yeah.
Helman Mkhalele.
Oh, man. Beautiful. They always say that appreciate and respect them while they're still alive, and that's exactly what Hugo Brosh has done. So we really appreciate Jomosono for his efforts. As we know, he's done everything when it comes to football. You were disagreeing, but he's done everything.
I'll stop right there.
Let's talk about the CAF Confederations Cup. USM Alger find themselves in the last 8, but they're not the only former champions to be part of the last 8. CAF Confederations Cup quarterfinals seems to be tantalizing. I mean, we also have the likes of RS Berkane, we have Itumeleng also in the mix of things. Just how important is it for USM Alger to be part of the last 8?
Number one, the important part is that they finish top. They're therefore seeded. So they'll avoid one, Zamalek.
Yes.
Dreams FC, and RS Berkane. One of recent champions, by the way, RS Berkane, defeated Paris not so long ago.
Yes.
You know, so they therefore find themselves seeded. So they will be in a different port to your modern future, Abu Salem, Rivers United, as well as Stade Malien. Because they finish the runners-up, they'll be in a different port. But the interesting thing about that is the fact that you want the defending champions to progress to the next round.
Yeah.
You don't want them to be knocked out very early and it's all over. I mean, remember as Berkane came in as defending champions, knocked out very early and it was all over. So now, at least you know that recent champions, one, the current holders, and one that won it not so long ago, is in the quarterfinals. So it's going to be very enticing quarterfinal fixtures to look forward to going forward. Because imagine if they both go through and they find themselves in a final like you've seen Al Ali and Wydad doing this recent in the CAF Champions League. That will mean that there's a massive story coming out of that as well.
You talk about the pots and how they've avoided each other, right?
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, who then becomes the next biggest threat within the quarterfinals?
That's what Jess is going to talk to you about.
Okay.
As to where we go after that.
Okay, let's talk about the newcomers then before we wrap it up. Your likes of Dreams, they've never won it ever within their history, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to establish them and themselves, and for them to make it thus far in the competition, just how important has it been, but also their progress within this competition?
Also the fact that they finish as the winners of their group. That is a big thing for them. I mean, the fact that they finish as winners of Group C, where Rivers United was sitting as well.
And Rivers has been in the competition.
Been a lot of times there. So that's a very good achievement for them, you know. From here going forward, they know that they're going to avoid the top ones. They might find them in the next round because there's no seeding in the semis.
Okay. Alrighty. You don't want to tell me who the biggest threat is, but Jess will come up and she'll tell me. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we talk about the CAF Champions League that seems to be heating up because, yes, the defending champions are there, but there's someone who's not there and people are raising eyebrows.